What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? To celebrate my release on Bassrush, I'm gonna give you 5 tips out of it, which are really insane and made that track come to life. If you haven't heard the song yet, this is what it sounds like. This is something I preach pretty often. I love to do sound design in separate sessions just to use these sounds later on. If I'm going to show you my little library here, which isn't that little anymore. So these are basically like all the sounds I've made over the last year or so. And these are just bass shot sounds, like you can see these are, full of these sounds. I'm going to show you how I kind of used these sounds I've made in the track and how it came together. Okay, so this is the first part of the drop. The first main sound is this little bass glitch here. And it originally comes from a sound design session I did. Let me see if I can find the original file. So it's actually this sound, and you can see if I stretch it out. It kind of sounds the same. I have a little bit of processing on here. I've had this frequency shifter on here. I have a little bit of mid-side OTT just to bring it out. Let me activate this one by one so you can actually see how this sounds without any processing. Then the shifter is just giving it a little bit of movement. I've did a little interesting technique here to layer the original sound with a higher pitched frequency shifted sound. I have this lows in here, which isn't just lows, it's like basically the whole sound. And I have this high layer, which is frequency shifted up, I guess, or automated with the LFO here. And I've put a harsh effect on here just to make it super wide. So basically I have a really cool layer out of this. Right after this, I have a mid-side OTT just to bring it out even further. Then a compressed room reverb to give it some width. And a little bit of EQ to reduce the low end here and boost a little bit of the high end. And this frequency shifter is just for certain parts to make a little pitch change. I have a glue compressor just to make the sound louder a bit again. And this is just for reverb throws. The whole drop basically just exists out of these sounds. And the cool thing here is that I really played with different rhythms. So you can see I've just made a little part of it and tried to create a rhythm out of that. And that's basically it. Here I used another little part, so it's not the initial hit, but I just shifted it a little bit. A cool tip in Ableton is that you can use Control Shift or Command Shift if you're a Mac, and then just move this wave around. Then you can basically grab through the waveform and find parts you like. Yeah, so and here it's even faster. So that's basically like the main sound of the drop. Then there are a few layers, which are those other glitch sounds I've made someday. Sound pretty silly on their own, but layered with the main sound. And without it. Yeah, that's basically it. Tip number 3. Is using little effects to make your drop really sound interesting and just carry on the track. So I'm going to show you what the tune sounds without the bass sounds. And let's just hear it with the drums and the little effect sounds, which sounds like this. First of all, I have a lot of chop drums in this track, so wides, crashes, which actually are a little bit sidechained, the kick and snare, just to make a little bit of room when they hit. Next up, I have all these little reverse effects, little sweeps. I really love to use these cashmere sweeps. They are called mini sweep. Cashmere mini sweeps, yeah. So it's these little sounds, and I really love them to transition, for example, in snares or in kicks, just to make it really interesting, or just like in between somewhere. Yeah, a few sweeps out of my packs. But yeah, you can see, for example, this one is sliding right into a snare, and it just gives a little cool groove. It's just like a little pre-shift, and it's really, really cool and really brings the track to life. What I really love to do is at the last part of the drop, just put in some kind of riser. So it starts really quiet. And with the sound. Yeah, and this just transitions nice out of the drop. So tip number 4 is use volume shaping on different elements. I used it on the sub and strings, and I'm going to show you what I did here exactly. What do I mean by volume shaping? You can use some kind of tool for it, either a volume shaper, an LFO tool or something else, or just use a utility. I think I did both things here. On the string in the drop, which nicely layers with the these basses. You can hear this is what it sounds like. And without volume shaping, it would sound like shit, to be honest. So this is what it would sound like without the volume shaping. It's horrible, right? And I've kind of made that intentional. Like I really boosted the crap out of this sound, like put an OTT with a lot of gain on there. I have a saturator which really boosts everything. And then I just use an LFO tool to bring out the original shape, or just to shape the sound into the drop. It's a bit more plucky, basically, and this fits really, really nice in it. And because you reshape the sound after giving it some boost and distortion and stuff, you can gain the dynamics back, which got crushed before, but you still get the initial loudness on the transient and on the first hit. This is a really, really cool technique. So the other thing I wanted to show you is using volume shaping on your subs, because if I wouldn't have this volume shaper on here, which is just a utility, I would just have a sustained sub. So this is what it would sound like. Which would sound really, really bowing in the track. Right? I've actually used the trick I showed you guys in the video before. So if you haven't seen that, please take a look at it, where I exactly show you how to make these kind of subs, these kind of distorted 808 layers. I have all these layers here, and I just shaped the whole group with the volume. So you can see this is the shape. And yeah, it just kind of follows the kick and snare pattern, and sometimes even the basses. And this is what it sounds like shaped. Yeah, and this just gives the sub a little bit more movement and makes it more interesting. And it's a super, super cool technique, and you don't have to worry about it. Basically, you can just drag a sustain sub note in there and then shape it later on. Tip number 5 is using your drop sounds as the riser in your build-up, just to make it more cohesive. And I guess that's a super, super cool way to introduce your drop early on, because sometimes your intro sounds kind of different from your drop, and this way you can make a cohesive transition from your intro into the drop. If you haven't done that yet, please leave a like and a comment below. Hit the subscribe button to help this channel grow. I will keep on doing these videos, and hopefully you guys like it. If you have any suggestions of topics I should cover or anything else basically which I can improve on my videos, please let me know and I will do my best to make that happen. This is basically what I did here. I resampled my drop and this is what it sounds like. Usually how I do it is I just take either the main sounds or the whole drop and solo it. So for example, it would be this. And I have this little resample channel on my template, which is already set to resampling. Then I just resample that part of the drop. Okay, so now I would have that. I think what I did here initially was just looping like one little section out of it. I think it's something like that. Or something like that. Yeah. So it was something like that, and then I consolidated the whole thing. Let me do that. Consolidate the whole thing. You can do that by clicking Ctrl and J. And yeah, then I just took the sample and pitched it down. So I think I've done it like that. So the first half is basically coming up from an octave below. So it sounds like this. And then I have this little gap. And probably then what I did is either speed it up by 2, which I do quite often. So you can just half time it and then it's basically double as fast. Which in this case doesn't sound too good. So I probably just took a little part and then repeated it. And yeah, that made it faster. Sorry. Sorry about that. Yeah. And made it faster, and then I probably pitched it up again. Let me see. Okay, not even. I still had the same thing going on here. Just pitched it up even further. So, I guess something like probably something like that. Yeah. And yeah, then of course having that, I guess. And then I've made it faster. I guess you can see that what I did here. And on this track, I used a bunch of automation on here as well. So I have a low cut and a high cut, which are doing their jobs to introduce it, and a little washout. You can see what's happening here. And as the build-up continues, I'm taking out a lot of the low end just to make the drop hit way harder. Yeah, and I just want to play you the whole build-up without these sounds, just to let you know like what kind of a difference this actually makes. So. Yeah, so you can see like it not nearly hits as hard as it does in drop. So this was it. I hope you enjoyed the video. As I said, please leave a like and a comment below. Subscribe to the channel and you get notified when I drop the next video. I try to do this once a week. Yeah, let me know what topics you're interested in about and I will make it work. See you soon. Bye bye.